everyone. My name is Taylor, if you're new here, and today we got a good one, y'all. We are talking about being single and being a mom. So this is my little panel here, and I'm gonna let everybody introduce themselves and share a little bit about themselves. Well, just introduce yourself right now, and then we'll go into everybody sharing their stories. So you can start.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I am 29 going on 30. And I have two kids, a little girl and a boy, 1 6 and 1 1. Yeah.
I'm Mariah. I am 22. And I have a daughter who will be 2 years old on Friday, the 29th.
Okay.
My name is Q. I have a 2 going on 3-year-old, and I am 25.
My name is Shannon. I'm 23 and I have a 2-year-old.
And my name is Bria, and I'm 23, and I have a 2-year-old.
And I'm Taylor, and I'm 23, and I have a 1-year-old. All right, so we're all gonna be sharing our experiences, and we all have that one thing in common, and that is being a single mom. Alicia is new to the single mom thing. Well, actually, she started out as a single mom.
Yeah.
Then she wasn't a single mom.
Right.
And now she's a single mom again. So share your experience with people, because I mean, you got married to your child's father, and now you know things aren't that way anymore. So like, what led up to that?
So, right, like Taylor was saying, I started off as a single mom, and then it was like, we love each other, we want to do the right thing, especially growing up in the church. You're pregnant, and it's like you sing praise and worship, and it's this and it's that. So it's like, but besides that, I said I want to make sure that I'm doing this for the right reasons. So we got married, and then we've been married for about 5 years, and then you start to realize certain things, like it's not adding up, or it's not going what you expect. You pray, you do counseling, you do this and you do that, and so it's almost now going on a year in April where we've been separated, and so all of a sudden he was like, I don't want to be a husband anymore. So I was like, yeah. So that was the same face I made. So I was like, really? So what I did was immediately, my first thing was to break down. I said, give me 30 days, and I'm going to have a way. So in 30 days, I had got me a second job. Got enough money to get me a deposit for a new place and everything, and I started. It was me and my kids, and it has been rough. It has been days where I have to put my baby in a high chair, give my little girl her iPad. I go in my room, cry a little bit, get it together, and then I go back out being a mom, because it is extremely hard, especially dealing with a child who grew up her whole life mommy and daddy.
Right.
So now
she's 6, right?
Yeah, she's 6, so she knows.
They're very opinionated.
So she like, so when we going back home with daddy?
Oh my goodness.
Oh. So, and I was like, well, so what I had to tell her is, I was like, guess what? Because she loves like princesses and stuff like that. So I was like, guess what? Mommy is going to be Cinderella, and one day somebody's going to put another glass slipper on mommy's foot. She was like, okay, really? So it's getting a little better, and I think we had like our first real meltdown. I was picking her up from school, because I'm doing everything by myself. Taking her to school, doing online school. It's back and forth, because with the COVID stuff. So sometimes they can go, sometimes they can't. So taking them to school, food on me. I don't get assistance from the state. I don't do child support. I don't do none of that. So a lot of it is on my own, and I work for myself. So I'm picking her up from school, and she was like, when are we going home with Dad? And I was like, Lauren, I don't think we're not going to go back home with Dad. And she literally broke down. And when she did it, I was just when she broke down, I was just like, I'm driving. I was like, okay, at least you got to keep it together. Yeah. And I was like, let's pray. Like, our foundation, I don't care what it is God, faith, prayer, love every day. I tell both of my kids I love them at least 75 to 100 times.
Right.
Like, and like throughout this, Because it started when I was pregnant with my second child. And my daughter, and what people don't postpartum is real. It's nothing that women just make up, y'all.
And men go through it too, and don't
Yes.
realize it. But it seems like they can just ignore their feelings more than we can.
Right,
You know,
'cause
like
they're
they'll just
not-
like throw it off, and it's really toxic.
Yeah.
But it's really toxic. But we ain't gonna talk about that. That's a whole other conversation.
Like going through postpartum, and my little girl every day, she's 5 or 4.5, going on 5, getting ready to turn 6 because I had my son. Every day I would sit in the room pregnant in the dark, and she's like, "You okay, mommy? I love you." She would reassure me that we're gonna be okay. And I was just like, if a 4.5, 5-year-old child
Kids know.
can do this,
Yeah.
got the strength for this, because a lot of people try to act like kids don't know what's going on.
They know.
Kids
They
know. Kids know.
Even 2-year-olds know. They know what's going on.
They
Feel like, and if they don't feel like they can feel
Yeah.
something ain't right.
Right.
It's something that's off that's going on with mommy. Something ain't right going on with daddy. But like my kids have been my saving grace.
Right.
Like if it wasn't for my kids, I probably would have literally lost my mind.
Yeah.
Because you just think so much of what did I do? What could I have done right? What could I have done different for it not to be like this? Because I didn't wake up saying I want to be a single parent. I didn't desire.
Right.
Yeah, that's not.
That ain't even a desire.
hard.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
hard.
Because I got it from both sides because I grew up in a single home. So then when you see like, this is not what I want. Then when you end up getting married, you're like, okay, yes, you know, all this and that, you're in your honeymoon stage, and then it's like, it go up and then I go down, and it's like, I wake up, I'm like, I'm really single.
Yeah.
And I grew up, I have a huge family. So being in a house all by myself with my kids, and then when they gone, I'm in a room like this.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
I don't have like, because I built my life around my kids. So now I'm
Do
like,
y'all think that's a bad thing though? Like to build your life around your child? Because honestly, some people see it as like being a super good parent and a good mom, and then some people are like, you can't forget about yourself, you know?
it has its pros and its cons.
Yeah.
Because I'll say the con about it is I literally don't think about myself. Like before I buy something, I don't care whatever
That's when you
it is
need
for
somebody
them.
else to think about you.
Right.
That's what your partner's for. Like I think about my partner, they think about me. Like when y'all got each other covered like that, it should be like you should be good. Cause you know if your mom, like you know you're gonna think about your kids. Like I don't buy myself stuff. Like I go out, I'm buying Braylon whatever, like I'm buying her everything. And honestly, I don't even have to buy that stuff because Zay does all that. But it's just like I don't buy myself stuff, and I don't like. Sometimes I feel guilty buying myself stuff.
I
It's like,
definitely do.
maybe my child needs this, and she might not even need nothing, you know. So I think that is something that people don't talk about enough. Is like sacrificing so much to the point where it becomes normal to not even think about yourself.
Yeah.
Like
And the crazy part is you have to make sure that you're okay to make sure they continue to be okay.
right.
Because like I'll be in the store, or if I'm ordering something online, I could have been like, now Alicia, there could have been some wipes, there could have been some diapers, there could have been an outfit for one of them. When I say I feel bad about buying my stuff, even like if it comes on my birthday or something, I'll be like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a whole lot.
So Q, tell us a little bit about your experience. Were you always single, or were you and your child's father, were y'all together in a relationship, or what? How did that?
So yes, we were together first, and we were together for a couple months after she was born. We was pregnant. Like when I was pregnant, we kind of started going through a little bit, and then we were good, and then a little after a while, you know, you just get tired, and you have a baby that kind of matures you. For some people, some women it don't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
okay.
Like-
But for me, it did mature me. It was like, I'm not gonna be dealing with this. I'm a whole mom now. I have a daughter. I got things I gotta do.
Right.
And I don't want to set that example for my daughter because she needs the best just like I deserve it.
Exactly.
So it was time for me to put my foot down, just like I'm done, like and cut all ties. So
Yeah.
it came to that. I don't really speak on that, but
Yeah.
yeah, this is what I had to do my own thing, and
Right.
you know we had to talk like, okay, we're gonna go our separate ways. and just do that.
How did that affect his relationship with your daughter?
It was good, you know, it's good. He's still a dad. He just what we need to do, we get her. He was a big help, like recently he moved, so it's a little different now because I don't have as much help. Like I'm like, hey, I need to get her because he's not here. So you know, I just made work was there. But you know, when he was here, he would get her, go like, hey, I need to get her. I'm not really big on, you know, I'm not pressed for her to go like, cause you know I'm used to having my baby. So
Right.
like,
That's how I am.
she with me like she a girl. I mean, if I had a little boy, I'd probably be like, you need to go to your dad.
Right.
I have a little girl. Somebody she with me, she loved being with me, so I know she loved on her dad too, and then she has a sister.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
So that's fun for her.
yeah, so she goes there to play with her sister. So that was good. But other than that, we just co-parent. You know, we do our own thing. We co-parent. We don't have no issues.
That co-parenting thing is, I feel like whether you're married, single, whatever, you still have to co-parent because
Yeah.
at that point, when you bring a child into this world, like you're then combining childhoods. Two different childhoods. Like I make it as simple as like, okay, me and Zay had to break it down like this. Like when he grew up, he got whoopings with switches. When I grew up, I got whoopings with belts. So that's totally different, you know. And I'm like, you're not whooping my child with no switch, and he's like, you ain't whooping my child with no belt. So you know, like it takes a lot of compromise and a lot of like selflessness because you gotta do it. It has to be done. You know, children need both of their parents, whether they're together or they're not. And combining childhoods and perspectives like that, that's how I know marriage is on a whole other level. And that's why I know that children are really meant for more than one person because, listen, it's hard to do it by yourself.
It's like me seeing the difference from when I was with her dad to not being with her dad, like having that help, having somebody there, just like, you know, there, like, because I know.
And when you're pregnant, you get spoiled. Like, that's the fun part.
Like, I could be in the bed saying, back, he bring my food. Like,
right.
But yeah, like, me just seeing the difference, like, when I had to go back to work, you know, it was just a lot. So when I had to go back to work, you know, of course he was there. So we had made our work shift, like, off. So, like, I work in the morning, he might work at night. So, like, he'll come in and he'll take her for me so I can get a break. So it was, like, easy like that. And then, so when I moved and we separated, it was just like, dang, I ain't got that help.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not one of them moms who, like, I'm trying to jump to the next person and have another man around.
So y'all used to live together?
Yeah, we're together.
Oh, so how is that? Because I've never lived with, me and Zay have never lived together. And like it's harder because now Braylon is so used to him leaving. Like he can strap her in her car seat and she's like bye bye, and it tears both of us up. You know, like that just makes us want to work harder and accomplish our goals to be together under the same roof. But I know like that has to be more beneficial. Have you and your child's father never lived together, right? So how is that experience not living with your child's father? Because I mean, I can relate to.
Well, like I never did, so I never missed it. And like even so, I was living with my parents, and I never spent the night with him. So like it wasn't out of the norm for me. Like if we did spend the night, it was back when I was in college, and you know it was like.
College,
you know that's different, and we
that's what you doing.
Yeah, we weren't pregnant, and everybody lives with everybody in college.
Yeah, but she graduated from Elon, so you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she lived a good college life. Okay.
No, but it's like I didn't have anything to miss because I never had it. So it to me it made this transition to like not being together a lot easier because I couldn't imagine if I was in the house with him and then like sever that tie, you know, like or like even if he moved, I wouldn't, because there's times where I'm at the salon and I'm going over and I'm like, hey, can you go pick her up? And he's like, yeah. If he live in Durham, I would be like, so who will pick her up? You know, like I can't just leave my client here like, okay, I'm gonna curl your hair later, you know, like
exactly.
I just never had to miss it, which I mean I'm thankful for at this point, but
I feel like I miss it and I have never had it. You know, like
put y'all together.
But you long for it.
Exactly.
It's a difference when you long for something versus you really don't have no appetite for it.
Yeah.
But you literally longing for y'all to be on the phone.
How do you okay, so with y'all, like if things could work with your child's father, like
okay, that's what I said.
Not thinking about like the stuff that y'all gone through, you like, is that something that you would want, or would you just rather, like, because me, a big fear of mine is building trust, trying to build trust with another man with my daughter.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, daughter is different than son.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, a man taking on, like, a fatherly role with a young boy is easier. Because it's like, oh, I'm gonna take him, show him basketball, and, like, it's much more nuanced a man to a little girl. So you, number one, have to trust that the guy is even emotionally intelligent enough to grasp that nuance. And then number two, of course, like, you guys then have to be compatible on top of that, because a lot of guys who are very emotionally intelligent, they might not be your perfect match, or like, so making it all work together, and for a little girl is so much more complex.
I can
See, I
imagine.
feel like it's complex for both.
Well, she has a boy and a girl.
Yeah, because I've seen where you don't know if some men have a hidden agenda where they could like men.
Oh, well.
So if you
Hopefully you're more discerning.
right, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I say it's complex for both, because if you really don't know what appetite this man has, and it ain't even he craving a girl, he craving a little boy.
What if he just crave children?
Right.
Exactly. And see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and that's why I'm so not hard on, but I keep both my kids close, because a lot of people say, girl, once you have that second child, girl, you're gonna be like, huh, take them. I'm not like that. Like, no.
We didn't let nobody help us.
Like my mama, they don't spend the night with their grandparents.
Yeah.
When my little girl spent the night with my grandma 2 weeks ago, I was like,
On pins and needles.
I FaceTime her. I'm like, Grandma. She said, what? Nisha? She in the bed. I'm like, okay. But
I feel that though.
it
Like,
comes from, like, especially when you don't know. And I think, because I dealt with stuff like far as when you got in-laws that don't reach out for the children. They really don't care for them, or they do what they want. They only talk to them when it's a birthday, or they only talk to them when it's a Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know you.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you're their family in name, but we don't know you.
Yeah.
So how's it fair for me to let you take my child for a certain amount of hours and you're a perfect stranger?
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you saying, Q?
Yeah, that's what I was saying about like my daughter with like her dad's parents or whatever. Like, well, like his dad and mom is not together, but like his dad, like, you know, he calls my daughter all the time. See, now my daughter is young, so she's not about to pick up the mom. Like, let me call him.
Exactly, but
The only person she might do that with is like her dad. Like, oh, let me call my daddy, like, or me, or her grandma, because like my mom helps me out a lot with that. So that's somebody she really knows.
and your mama live in Atlanta, so that's like how.
But
But shout out to them grandparents that make it.
consistency.
Yes.
Learn off consistency. I don't care if it's potty training, if it's teaching them ABCs, if it's teaching them how to drink out of a sippy cup.
And
if
kids know that, like,
you have to.
Kid is not the child's responsibility to
It's
create
not.
relationships with people.
Exactly.
It's really not. Like, my child don't have no phone. My child, like, no.
Especially she had an iPhone 45. It's not her. It's not a child's responsibility
It's not.
to do what an adult's supposed to do.
Yeah, they don't
or
know.
should want to do.
Yes, exactly. I definitely agree.
That's one thing I just feel like, you know, I don't really talk about it. I don't want them to ever think I'm talking about them, but I just always feel like, you know, y'all are grandparents, and then y'all say stuff to other people that come back and say it to me.
Right.
Like, oh, I don't let her go over this or that. But first of all, y'all don't call my daughter.
Right.
So at the end of the
Is she
day,
sick?
you have to
You don't know.
You don't
None of that.
call her. You don't check on her. You don't even text me like she good. Y'all
Right.
okay? I can
Or
get her straight
is it, I'm in the area, like, where does she
Let me come see her.
Yeah, like, can I just come see her for 10 minutes, you know, like,
Or
anything.
just a FaceTime call.
Exactly.
That's it.
Communication is so easy right now. I know
like,
COVID
it's
things
no
are
excuse
hard.
for nothing.
Right.
If you don't have an iPhone, you got Facebook Messenger.
Girl,
you got
so many options.
It's like you can do a Zoom call.
There's Wi-Fi everywhere.
Let's do a parade.
Google Duo. You can, anybody can get on Google Duo. Okay. Zay's grandmother is 69. My grandparents are 70, 68, 70. Like, we communicate.
My
You know,
mom is
it's
72
it's
and
no
on FaceTime.
exactly. exactly. Like even the older generation are becoming more
You have to.
because they want to keep those relationships with people. You know, like, and when you can tell when people value certain relationships with people, and you can tell when they don't.
Exactly.
But anyway, so let's go to you and share your story. Like, you and your child's father, are y'all together right now, or are y'all not? Like, is it complicated?
No, it's
What-
definitely not complicated.
Oh, okay.
We're not together.
Were y'all together
We did
prior?
live together.
Oh, okay.
We were together. Probably not the first 5-6 months of my daughter, after my daughter was born. Things just took a left turn. Like, it really started changing once I first got pregnant. But you know, you try to stick things out. You're like, okay, maybe it's just new to us.
Maybe it's just hormones.
Yeah.
Did you see?
maybe
I was about to say, did you blame it on yourself? Because I was like, I'm emotional.
And I did.
It's me.
I said, maybe it's me. Maybe, you know.
Right.
Maybe
Maybe
neither one of us have been parents. So
Exactly.
this is new to both of us. You know, let's just see.
Right.
Tried it. It was just wasn't there. We had a little altercation, and that was it for me. Like I still tried after that, but it was just one of them things.
It was never like
where it was like,
Did it feel like it was you doing most of the trying?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just
one
felt
side.
like a lot of things that conspired between us like broke me, and I just felt like I would never go back to that point where I felt like I was nothing.
I feel like those experiences, especially when you have a daughter, because like having a son is different. Like, but when you have a daughter and you're a woman, it's like sit back and think about, like, is this a situation that I would want my daughter to be in right now? You know, like, is this how you would want your daughter to be loved? Because honestly, like, some men having a daughter does not change nothing. And them even having a mom does not change nothing. Them having a little sister doesn't change
You
anything.
having a mom makes it worse.
Honestly, them having a mama make it work. Everybody got a mama, but you know, men having a mama make No, seriously though.
Yeah, but that's the reason why I say give me 30 days.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women make excuses. Well, I can't leave because I ain't got this, I ain't got that. Let me tell you something. If you want to get out of something and you really want to, you can.
But see, for me, I didn't have to get out of nothing because I came in on my own. Like when I was pregnant,
But see, some women don't. They be
when I was pregnant, I made sure I was straight. I was working, like, when I say I was slaving while I was pregnant, I was slaving. I got my house, like, mortgaged. Like, I got a house for us.
Wow.
I was still finishing his last semester of college.
When you say house, I'm like, okay, right there. You like working it out. Okay, that's
I
good.
made sure I was, like,
Set.
All he had to do was graduate and come home.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, everything that's everything happened. It was just like, you left. Like, and now I just gotta get used to being alone.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you feel about being in a house with just you and your daughter?
I love it. I mean, at first it was definitely a big adjustment because it's just like, we had been together 4 years. So it's like
4 years, wow.
Yeah, so it was like,
That's hard.
it's like, dang.
Was marriage ever on the agenda?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But okay,
I'm saying, like, not just on your part though, like on both
It
parts.
was like the thing where, you know how you might get into it with your partner or whatever, and they're like, you know, I love you, I was gonna marry you. Stop wolfing, stop talking all of that talk, just do it.
Right.
But it don't matter the
Yeah.
situation. You know what I'm saying? Of course, everybody want it made, but if you want to be with somebody, if you love that person, you gonna do whatever. it takes.
Marriage, exactly. Marriage is all about
So-
choosing to continue choosing each other. Like making the conscious decision to just choose each other, no matter what.
And how you
Everyday
start
choice.
out, that's how you keep going.
Exactly.
Don't start me with something and then you get slapped.
And you know, us women, we gonna notice the smallest change.
Oh, yeah.
You flip that pillowcase over. Hold on, what you doing? Like, did you turn your back?
Excuse me.
Before you say goodnight? Like, it's like that.
Why you jumping straight in the shower?
Right.
We got
But hold on, let me tell you real quick.
You start washing clothes.
You trying to be independent now? Right. Oh, now you look like you're single. You don't want to wash your clothes. Yeah. Okay. No, it's definitely like that.
Why you get your hair done so much? What's wrong with you?
Right. You get a haircut every week.
Yeah.
What are you working with? You not doing that. It's serious. It's really real though. Like men don't realize like the way a woman's mind works. Like
So intricate.
and it's good to have these conversations with other women.
Yeah.
It's good to have these conversations with other women, and I hope men watch this too. So on my future episodes, I do want to have men, and I want to have mixed crowds, and I do want to have all men. You know, like because I think when men just hear it from one woman, the woman they're dealing with, it becomes redundant, and they like, you're tripping. Women don't do that. Yeah, like, and it's really not like that. Like what you said about, you know, your child's father's family not contacting your daughter and stuff. Like I've said that stuff, you know, like, and other women have said that, but I'm sure the person they're dealing with thought they was like, oh, you tripping,
Yeah, but
you know.
the crazy part is,
I know he's saying that.
Yeah.
it's hard because like before you get married, you want to make sure all that is taken care of. Because then you go into marriage with those problems, and then now the marriage ain't even about y'all. It's about your mama said this, your daddy said that, and you better say something. Because if you don't say something, then I got a problem with you.
Speaking of mamas and daddies though, like let's talk about hold on, pause. Shannon actually just lost her father. So she actually had to go through something that I couldn't even imagine going through while, you know, still being a somewhat new mom. Because Justice is 2, right? And you lost your father when?
In March last year.
Yeah.
It's about to be the first anniversary.
Wow. So that was something major, you know, and when your child is 2, you're still a new mom. You know, like
You're a new mom every day. You got new experience.
yeah, you know.
It's different every day.
So, like, I know that was a lot for you. So, what was that process when, you know, how did it affect Justice? How did it affect you being a parent? Like, how did it change your perspective?
So it's crazy. 2 things you mentioned. First of all, my perspective is so like about parenting, about life is so changed forever. Like I'll say the number one thing that I learned was like my dad was like the best dad, right? But it's like my dad, because of his childhood, he spent a lot of time like spinning his wheels, trying to show us like through all these different things, which he did. But at the time of his death, we didn't remember any of that.
Yeah.
And so it really like made me zero in on like how I treat my son. Like there's so many things that I will do for him. Like I'm gonna spoil him, get him J's, all these things. When he wants the new game, he's gonna get it.
Yeah.
But just remembering like when you die one day, he's not gonna remember any of that.
Yeah.
Like my dad showered me with any type of gift, but when he died, that was like the last thing in my head. It was like the things he poured into me, like my faith or like my sense of humor, like the things that
That's so
right, the things that last. So like with my son, it really, I feel like gave me a head start in the emotional IQ game because I'm like, okay, my dad, I can't let his loss be in vain. I got to take that and apply it and understand like Justice is going to remember me for like the fruits that he got from me.
Right.
See, I definitely believe in that. Trying to build a moment, a moment with my children. And I said, I never want to work so hard that they don't get to experience mommy.
Exactly.
Or they always say, see you later, mama. I see you when you get off from work. I never wanted my children to experience that because when I was growing up, I never did. We never did family vacations. Because we're a single parent. When I was married, we never went on vacation.
Wow.
We never
there
did.
for how long?
5 years.
Oh,
We never did any of that. So I never was able to experience life as a child. And other kids, so I went to Disney World. I went to the beach. I went here. And I was like, in my mind, I can't wait to do that.
Yeah.
So now, like, last year, I finally took my kids on to the beach.
Wow.
And they was just like, well, they've been to the beach before, but sometimes I be working. So they don't really get to experience it like that. But it was a vacation and they loved it. And that's because I always want to just have a moment with my kids. So when I leave this earth, I did this with mommy. This is what I want to instill in my children, my children's children. You know, just always being there, no matter what.
That's how I am with my daughter, because like I work 2 jobs job when I was pregnant. I'm just like, I always make sure we good at all times, with or without a man. So it's just like, now I'm like, you know, just try to make sure I have time for her. So like right now, I just try to set myself up for a goal. Like I say, when she's about to go to school, I'm done working with people. That's why I'm setting myself up now. Because I want to be there to be like going to school with her, going on school trips, like be going on vacations, like doing everything with her. So that's my goal. So right now I'm just working as much as I can to get to that point, doing my businesses and all that, and like starting business for her, all of that.
Girl, I didn't hear it.
So do y'all think y'all friends who don't have children understand what you're going through?
No, they
Do you
can't.
think they're trying to empathize?
Because
They try.
Like, let's go out.
They can't.
Yeah.
Cause I didn't. I definitely didn't. When I have a friend who had a baby, and I thought I knew. I thought I was empathizing with her until I had my baby, and I was like, oh, that's what she was talking about.
I think it's just like when somebody else loses somebody, like they're like, I know how you feel. Like, no, you don't. You really don't, because you don't. You never even been there. But even then, it's still everybody's experience is different. Yeah. So like how Bria said, like she doesn't miss the fact that she's never lived with her child's father because she just never had it. And I've never lived with my child's father, but that's something that I want. That's still different experiences. You know what I'm saying? So that's a real big thing. Like that's why perspectives matter, and that's why you don't judge people, because
opinions,
like you don't judge people, and you just don't like put your experience on somebody else, because even the slightest thing could make a difference. Like
you could never know.
And that's why I tell anybody, you don't know if you put your foot in somebody else's shoe. Because what I lived off of, somebody might die. So, and that's why
I only had 2 heart attacks within 3 years, and that's a plain example of somebody.
I don't mess with people. I don't just be like mess with people's hair, and like for the was it the inauguration, and they was joking on the girl with the crochet, and I'm like, this huge moment.
Yeah,
y'all mess with y'all talk about a black woman. What?
Talking about her birthday.
But listen,
I don't go on social media and stuff. I really was talking about a headband.
But this is what I've learned, I guess, seeing other women go through things. What if she didn't have enough money to get the 6-pack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She gonna have it now. Them followers ain't baby. Okay.
And I'm just saying, like,
she gotta work millions.
and we don't know the aftermath of people talk, because of course it went viral of people talking about her, her hair. What if she went home and would have slit her wrist? What if she would have went home and hung herself? Like, and I just think the importance of black women, because we're in a society now where they downgrade us so bad that all they want us to do is do a busted challenge. All they want us to do is do different challenges and exploit us, but they don't want to hear what we think. That's why I thank you for doing something like this, because it's always one side on what a woman can do when we're the strongest, if we really want to talk about it.
I always say that a man could never.
If we really want to talk about it,
A man could never. A man could never.
Honestly, if we can do so much.
But we even talk about the aftermath. Like, you've been like, oh, you're just so strong. You had a baby. I'm still here. Like, I had to go through after having a baby.
Right.
Girl, today is day 1 of my monthly. I about died today. Still had to come to work. My man was just talking about I'm sick. I'm sick. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the things we're expected to put in the closet.
And we still have to.
And I still have to show up every day. I still got to put a smile on my face. I remember my daughter, she got a stomach virus about, like a year ago. And she was like, she gave it to all of us. I'm dead sick. Her daddy done got it too. He told us, I'm throwing up. Well, who gonna pick up that care? So I had to go in the bathroom, get my life, go get her. The sun is like burning my eyes. I can't. I'm driving. I can barely see. I need to get to this daycare, get my child, bring her back home, and hope that my mom get off work early so she can get my child. Like, I'm about to die. And I'm sitting here like, bro, and you over me telling something I'm sick.
When men sick, they at worse than kids.
Oh my God.
I mean,
they can't handle it.
They can't handle it. I'm like, and I'm sitting here, I have to deal with this, and then I have to deal with what I go through every month, and then I have to deal
And you
with
still
work,
want
and I have to
something.
deal with trying to figure out who gonna keep her, and like, you know, the things that we have to go through, and like even something as small as I have to work, and he's like, well, I have to work. Who's gonna keep our child?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's a sacrifice.
We're not
Okay,
gonna
so
play
sacrifice.
this. This is
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
our game. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's good taking the initiative to like
to
figure things out. You know,
Right.
like why I shouldn't always have to be the game.
You don't have to figure things out.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how it seems.
But that's because society has made it that way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the woman, you know, she takes care of the child,
Yeah.
takes care of home, the man goes to work.
Right.
Like,
And that's
easy.
even,
But
but that's even before we were
Right.
born. Like,
Yeah.
like
Like,
it's instilled. Like how people raise their children to be racist. We were raised off certain things, and this come from like when we were younger, they gave us a doll to play with. When guys were younger, they gave them
a truck or
a truck or basketball
Now they
to
give
teach them how to
girls
score. You know what
trucks
I'm saying?
and boys dolls.
That's the next episode.
Right.
Yeah,
So yeah, I definitely. What we were saying about the parents and stuff. Do you feel like it's possible for parents to overstep boundaries when it comes to
Very much
comes
so.
to your child? Like, have you experienced that, Bria?
I have my so I always say that my parents are my first baby daddy because my daughter's dad was getting his life at the time,
Yeah.
and my parents were there.
Yeah.
And so I think for a while they got so not comfortable, but like they got so used to playing their part that sometimes they did overstep boundaries. But the problem is that I let them because I was like, they're here, you're not.
You don't have to.
So like, if my mama said something, you was like, okay, you don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it got to a point where it definitely drew a wedge between me and him. And regardless of how I feel about him romantically, we still have to raise a kid together because he wants to be in her life. So I was like, I had to have a conversation with my mom, especially my mom. My dad just kind of do his thing, but I was just like, Mom, look, you know, this is the way we've chosen. You know, we decided to handle it like this. I know that's not the way you would have handled it, but also this is not something that's really that you dealt with before. You know, my mom always had my dad, so I know she likes to like be like, no, it needs to be like this, it needs to be like this, but it ain't. You know what I'm saying? So like I have to do what's best for me, but also keeps the integrity of my relationship with my child's father to the point where I'm not stressed out. I don't want to be up all night thinking about it.
Exactly.
I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to be crying about it anymore. If he said he wants to keep her Wednesday nights on, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even though it's not fair, like, it's not. And it's never going to be fair. Like, even, I even watched in my parents' relationship, being married the whole time, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't fair.
Oh,
my dad didn't do stuff for us. He didn't buy us nothing. Like, he buy us clothes, do stuff. You know, I still be wearing the same shoes I wore when I was 17. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So it was just like, it's
But I think
never
we can
gonna
all
be fair.
agree that like we've all found faults in our parents and stuff that we thought was. I tweeted today. I was like, sometimes you may think your normal is really normal, but it's
crazy.
Like
function.
right, because
Yes.
what you grow up in and what you grow up around, you think is normal.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be. It's really toxic. Like, and you don't realize that until you're at the point where you have to outgrow your childhood.
Some people only know how to live in dysfunction.
Yes.
And toxic stuff.
Yeah.
But they don't know it's dysfunction. So that's why it's important.
Some people
People's
do.
addicted to
But
it.
some,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a drug. Like some people thrive off of
In
drama.
toxicity.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Certain stuff.
But you know, that's like people that's addicted to anything. Like they be addicted to alcohol and be like, I don't drink that much. They
Yeah.
take
Maybe
10 shots a day. You know, like every day. You know, but it's like, no, you really do. That's what I'm saying. Like some people don't even realize the situation that they're in because it's normal.
And
to
because
them.
they've been functioning in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they feel like they've been thriving in it, so they think it's okay. So then when you check them on it, no.
Or they
Exactly.
That's when the
Yeah.
arguments and stuff.
Yeah, or they play the
They
victim
act
when
like
I ain't bad.
everybody drama to me. And
Right. Oh my God, I can't stand the victim.
I had to be the one. I had to tell my mom. I'm like, look, Mom, how you raised us is totally different.
Old school, now that's a big thing too. Old school raising, parenting, what they did as parenting is way different
And
than
the
what you have to
times
do
are
now.
different.
Children are weak now, and I don't mean that like
Yeah.
and no like seriously. Yeah, no, but kids are really weak now, and what I mean by that is like suicide is no joke now.
No
Back
joke.
when I was young, that ain't something I thought about. Like,
And
that
that
was
was
never.
especially from
They were like, you tell somebody kid they ugly now, they were like, oh, I'm going home and kill myself. Back then, I used to be like, you ugly, your mama ugly, and I'm
But
thinking about
now,
taking my life.
because we did things like we went outside.
Yes.
We socialized with
Yeah,
other people.
yeah.
We got to see different other people backgrounds just from hanging outside.
Mhm.
Everybody is an iPad, iPhone,
And it's too much access.
yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
I feel like they really have to have limits with this stuff because
I limit my daughter.
I'm not even getting my child an iPad. They just mentioned the other day about getting Brother an iPhone. I said, she don't even know how to not call 911. What are you doing? Because if
Right.
Lisa's at my house every day, we're going to have problems. Because she over here pressing stuff, you know, like,
Right.
and I get it. Like, you want your child to have the best. Like, you want your child to have the best, but I'm an Apple person. So this is something that's, like, small, but, like, it really meant a lot to me because I cared about my child first and, like, how much stuff she had access to. I'm an Apple person. So the first thing I'm thinking is like get her iPad for her to watch all her TV shows and everything on. But I came across the Amazon Fire Kids tablet,
It's
which
the
you
bomb.
create your child's profile. They only have access to whatever you share to them.
Right.
And I understand it's a lot of control, but when they're young and don't have the ability to make decisions for themselves and smart decisions
You're
for
supposed to
themselves,
be the one.
you're responsible for that. And I definitely was on board with that. Like, we just got her the newest one for Christmas, and she watched the only stuff that I let her watch on Netflix. She only watched the only stuff that I let her watch on YouTube, and she doesn't have access to anything else.
My
Like,
1-year-old has it, and he clicked for the big red dog.
yeah, you can click on whatever you want to click on. They read. Okay, yes, you can click on. They read books. They read books to them. Like,
They obsessed with
yes,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna be concerned if I leave you in the room with the tablet by yourself. You
Right,
know, like
right.
I'm not gonna be scared that you're gonna come across something crazy because you don't have access to that. And so I feel like that's really important. Like,
But you think about like, you know how Disney Plus has stuff on there that's not child friendly?
see, I download her stuff.
See, no, I know that, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
which is why that's so important because
Right.
I was watching a movie on Disney Plus. So I think it was like 10 Things I Hate About You on Disney Plus, and they cussing, they having sex, they doing all this stuff on Disney Plus.
Disney?
But it's like a kids, not a kids movie. It's more like a teen type of, you know, rom-com or whatever.
But teenage.
But it's on Disney
But
Plus.
everything that Disney owns is on
It's-
Disney.
it's
Plus.
on
So
there.
that's what
Literally.
like that.
So that's
Yeah,
why
that's
it's so
why, like,
important to
Marvel
have
and
those.
everything
Yeah, them
like that,
control.
too.
Yeah, even Marvel can get a little, you know, random
Yeah.
sometimes. So like that's why it's so important to have like that control over what your child is, you know, exposed to. And while exposure is good, in you know, in moderation, I'm gonna expose you to this when it's time.
Right,
Not you found it on Disney Plus and you like, mommy, what is sex? You know, like
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right. So
Like,
what do y'all feel about like? So I'm thinking like what you pour into your child and the type of environment your child is in. Like, I believe that stuff will come out of them. So like, how do y'all feel about that? Because I won't let my child go to certain people's houses because I'm like, that environment is not something
It's
that I want
exposed
my
to
child in.
Definitely.
It's
Yeah.
I'm when I say I'm hard,
We know. Well, I know.
I am very, and it's because I've seen people get molested in their own family members'
My
houses.
goodness.
Yeah.
So, or heard, not seen, but heard of the stories that how you get molested at your cousin house, your uncle house.
Some people think it's okay to let kids watch other kids too, and
No,
I have an issue with that.
Oh, I ain't play none of them games.
No, see,
Only
like
girl,
Zayna-
little boy ain't sitting on nobody's lap.
See, I don't let no Berlin ain't sitting on nobody's lap, but like I like if she want to sit on my dad's lap or if she want to sit on her daddy's lap or like something like that. That's it, you know. Like, but they have a little brother and sister. They're 7 and 9, so like he's
Wow.
23. Yeah, they're young, you know. But whenever they're around each other, like if Berlin is around them. Like I just like for them to be where I can see them because they're older kids
exploring
and they
themselves,
and they aren't capable of taking care of another child. And so like one time I was there and they went to another room, but it had like glass windows so I could see. But Braylon came back and I went to that room and it was a knife on the floor. And I'm like, anything could have happened, you know. So it's just like I value that stuff, whereas like other people may not.
They just go play.
Yeah, like
I hear boom. I'm like, what was that?
Nah, I don't be like, damn, it's just us here. Like my child running back and forth. I be sitting right up there in the couch.
on there. These steps right?
Oh, she know how to get up and down.
Just sit up on side.
But
gated.
yeah, she know how to get up and down. I can't.
I got gates everywhere.
Because sometimes battles.
Yeah.
That's
When
true.
it comes to being a mom, and I'm at home all day. Like all of y'all
I'm
work.
learning that.
Yeah.
I'm
You work
learning
too? Oh, okay. So you understand. But I'm at home with Braylon all day, every day.
Child.
So when Zay gets here, sometimes he like, you just let her do that. I'm like, look, I gotta pick my battles, okay?
That's right.
I'm not about to argue down every single thing. Like, if she got a marker and want to draw her hand, listen, it ain't on my walls. It ain't nowhere. It's washable. It's gonna come out. Like yesterday, I posted on my Instagram. She
writing
drew
all
on
in
my
your
forehead, on my hand. Like, hey, you know, you quiet right now. You know, like, and I love being around my baby, but sometimes that is my break.
Yeah.
You know,
How was that for you though? Like, cause
being at home all day?
I started. I remember right before, and like, thank God that the pandemic happened. I know some people don't like that, but I'm glad it did. Cause I did not. I had just moved into my apartment. I had 2 jobs. I was full time at the salon and part time at Michael, and I was working at least 60 hours a week. And I was just sitting there like, it was literally like, I think it was the end of February. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like, I was literally sitting there. I was like, how am I gonna do this and be a mom?
Yeah.
You know, and be a person. You know, like, and still be viable.
And still gonna be a person. That's the good
Yeah,
part.
like, it's like I used to work at this restaurant, and when I went into the job interview, I had Justice, my son. with me.
Wow.
And it's like, when you say that, it's so true, because we talk about like all this stuff that we have to go through as moms, like we have to do this, we have to do this. But like the crazy thing is, while we're doing all that, we're still like humans searching for identity, trying to figure out
We're still young.
who I like, who like, but then there's suddenly like this person. And it's like weird.
No, but literally.
Suddenly this, that
And
you
there
is
is
so
one
much
person.
more
Yeah.
important.
Right.
So it's like, well, I think that's what I think that's the biggest separation between people who don't have kids and people who do have kids. Like, I think they understand that it's hard and like it's inconvenient. We have to.
Yeah, but they don't
But they
understand
don't
the selflessness, the level of like.
So how do y'all deal with y'all emotions by yourself?
I have a therapist. First of all,
I'm saying just period, because
That's good.
just going
I
through
recommend
stuff, and
therapy.
because like I just feel like sometimes you really can't even express yourself to everybody.
Right.
Sometimes you just gotta be like, I'm gonna eat this by myself. Like, how do you deal with that? Like, when you, especially on those days when you're frustrated, it seems like that day where you're frustrated, your child wants to get in everything, pull everything out. They're emotional. Like, how do you deal with that?
I think the way to deal with it is to deal with it. Like, for
Right.
real. Because one thing about me, I think Tony Gaston said it, he said, if you gotta put a towel around your neck,
That is
never
my
let
man,
it see you
okay?
sweat. You ain't gonna catch me looking crazy.
Right.
If I got to put my makeup on, take it off, put it back on again, and take it off and put it back on again, I will. Like, you know, I was that person, but then I realized, like, you can't act like everything's okay when everything's not okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I do, like you said, you needed 30 days to get it together. I take 3 days to like look like trash. It's like if I got it, I mean not at work or whatever, but when I go home, take that makeup off, I'm laying on this pillow and I'm crying till water hits the floor. Like, because I have to deal with it. And if that means crying, if that means screaming, if that means running, if that means
See, I have to work on
singing,
that.
you know, whatever it means,
I'm a
just
person
deal
where
with
you
it.
ain't nobody gonna see me
You,
emotional.
I don't see
Yeah,
it.
like, and I don't let nobody see me emotional.
Like, not even my
Like,
kid. You ain't gonna see me cry.
Now, my little girl, she might catch me slipping
Take
every
it down.
now and then. But like, I just believe, I don't know, and I think it's because I work with people so much.
You know.
So when I come across that threshold, I got to be right for my clients. I got to be right for church. I got to be right for everybody else. So, and it has its downfalls, but when I say like, you ain't gonna see me mad. You ain't gonna see me cry.
Yep.
You ain't gonna see me unless the Spirit of the Lord just
No,
hit my eyelid. You ain't. And then times people see. Hey, how many times have you ever seen me mad?
I used to be with you every day. I mean, but not like, I've never seen you mad a lot, but I do say like emotions are hard to deal with alone.
Yeah.
Like you really need somebody that you can tell anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Literally.
And honestly, and this is what a lot of people think, because me and my mom have a great relationship, like amazing, and I can honestly tell her anything, but the person that you tell everything to can't be your parent. Because
they still see you as that
parents,
baby.
parents form strong opinions.
Mhm.
And especially if it's concerning the person you're dealing with, your partner and stuff like that, you can't share everything with your parents.
Especially
It's
if it
just
has
not
something to do with somebody that's connected to your child, because they have
right.
that grandparent bond is something
Yes.
crazy.
It's out of this
Yes.
Like
world.
my mama gets fire in her eyes about my child. Like,
Yes.
sometimes a little bit more than me. Like
Yeah.
something
I was
happens.
here first.
Yeah, it's just something
Okay.
crazy, and I'm like, mama,
Yeah.
I got this. You know,
Right.
like I remember one time she came home from daycare and she had fallen and she had scratched her forehead, and I lost my mind.
Yeah.
But I held it together because her dad was chilling, and so I told my mom, she's like, what? I'm falling your side, and mom, first of all, she said you better go take care of her.
Right.
I said, wait, I said I go to work, Mom. Hold on. But yeah, like I think anytime you tell your parents something like concerning the partner that is your child's parent, then they like, oh, I don't need to trust them around the baby. No, you know what I'm saying? And then you're like, why would you say that? You know, like so yeah.
But then it's a possibility that you might get back with this person.
right.
And you don't ever want nobody to say, well, I thought you said, and that's even friends. I thought you said,
You just want to
did
be
this.
comfortable at the family function.
Literally.
Okay? Even if it's just a simple Sunday dinner.
Right.
You don't want to.
Especially if
You never say nothing.
Exactly.
They can
That's
make it
very-
look
That
like,
holds grudge.
and you don't want nobody to turn their head. So when they walk through there, I'm like,
Oh, you back. Yeah, but emotions definitely have to be handled, and I feel like, as in like the Black culture, we don't handle emotions properly, and we don't seek wise counsel enough, and it's really toxic. Like that's my word for 2021.
Yeah.
Like it was used a lot in 2020, but it's really a lot of stuff that I'm seeing that is really toxic, and that's what I can name it, and that's what I can call it, because that's what it is. You know, like going to see a therapist, you don't have to be a crazy person to seek therapy. Like I'm in therapy for my anxiety right now. I have anxiety. I have the biggest fear of death and dying and all of that. And I overthink a lot. Like I'll be at a stoplight and I'm like, oh my God, please don't shoot the car up. Like I do not, like that's me. That's how deep my anxiety is. I'm like, don't pull, if they driving, he knows, do not pull window to window beside somebody, because I'm going to go crazy. Yeah. So that's what I'm in therapy for right now, but I'm not a crazy person. I have plenty of sense, you know. But in the meantime, with me getting help for my anxiety, it's helping me open up and helping me release things that I didn't even know I had to release. And therapy does that for you. Whether you have therapy or a life coach or a mentor, somebody that you can see as your outlet. Because like, I can talk to Zay as much as I want, but he's still a man. At the end of the day, he's still, so it's certain things that he's just not going to understand, and I can't change that. You know, like I can find out what I can do is figure out how I can word it differently, or how I can express it to you differently to help you understand my perspective. But other than that, like, I can't do nothing. But handling your emotions is very important. My dad preached years ago about mastering your emotions, and I literally, that helped me so much, because I used to have a horrible attitude. I can still go there. I can still go there. Like, don't try me, especially not my baby. Don't try me.
right, okay.
I can still go there, and I'm not gonna do a whole bunch of talking, like at all. Like I get real active. But the thing is, like learning how to control who to let have that, like who to let have that, who you can let have that much control over.
Okay,
you.
yeah.
And have access to you, because you don't want to get. And then after you react, you be like,
That's stupid.
was it
I
worth all
feel
that?
like that about my child's father. I feel like he was the only person that could take me there.
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like he's still not that, and he tries it sometimes, but I'm just so far, like I'm gone. I'm
Yeah, that's mastering your emotions.
Where
Right.
it's just like I don't let that bother me.
Right.
And if it does, I'm not gonna respond or react to it.
Right.
But he could take me there.
Yeah.
Definitely could take me.
But
there.
knowing your
You do
limits.
that when you were in love with them.
Yeah.
So it's like they know that sensitive part.
Right.
It's like,
But it's also
Right.
important to know your limits with people.
Yeah.
Like I always say, know your limits with your friends. Like know who you can tell all your business to. Know who you can't. Like that don't mean they still can't be their friend. That don't mean they ain't gotta have the title friend. But no, like okay, I'm only gonna get this much from this person. Like this is all they're gonna give me, and this is all I'm gonna give them. You know, and that's okay. You know, and how you choose to handle that, but that plays a part in who you allow around your kids. Like, okay, what do you do on a day to day? Because I'm not trying to know you just so you can keep my child. Like, what do you do on a day to day to where like I need to know? Okay, is my child safe to come with you for an hour, or what? Like, what do y'all do? What, how do y'all decide whether? You know, oh, my child is safe with this person. Like,
I just know who to do what and what not with. So,
yeah.
Like,
well, you have a babysitter, so what steps did you take prior to, like, when you were evaluating who you wanted to be your babysitter and stuff like that? Like, what steps did you take? Because I'm paranoid to send my child to daycare, let alone a babysitter. Girl,
Yeah, my kids have never been to a daycare.
Really?
Yeah, my daughter, she had just
Never.
started daycare before the pandemic. She was there for like 2 months. And it was actually a family member, so I said, okay. I'm like, she's all good. She would tell me, like, just drop off and go. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Like, let me make sure she all right, because when I leave, she'll cry. But it's like, you know, she has to get used to it. But, I mean, it was a little easier for me to find a babysitter because I actually worked with the person. We used to work together.
So, yeah, you got to know her.
We
Like,
had got that bond. I figured her out.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it's hard trying to find a babysitter because people be crazy. They might put on
Girl,
their persona and they be somebody else.
Does your babysitter have kids?
No, she's actually pregnant now. So
Oh, that's right. You did say that. Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, she's actually engaged. She's gonna get married soon. So
Oh,
kudos to
that's
her.
good.
But yeah, so we're working together so we can build that bond really close. I'm like, you know, this is somebody I know I can trust. She'll be around my daughter. She's a kid-friendly person, even though she doesn't have kids. So yeah, that was really easy for me. So when it was time for me, she was about to leave work, stop working. So I was like, perfect. Like I feel like God just put her there. Like
Yeah.
here you go, here's somebody. Because I was when I had my daughter, after I had her, I stopped working one of my jobs. I just worked one job. I was like, this is my time to bond my daughter a little bit. I was like, when she get a little older, it's pushed. Like we got to get this deadline. So like her first year, I just worked like one job. She helped me out a lot when I had to start picking up that second job. She helped me out a lot. She'll come in. She'll come to my home. So when I'm going out at work, I come back home and I'm there. I'm like, you know, I let her know, like, hey, give her a balance or whatever. Just let her know she do everything I asked her to do.
Right.
And it was.
I also go off the kids too, because
Yeah.
kids tell you,
Yeah.
they can tell anything. It's
What do you
like-
do about your children that don't say anything? Because some of them are too afraid to say anything.
Well, but you watch their non-verbal cues. You remember? I think they taught that here.
You got verbal
They said
and
when you have a client and they doing like this with their fingers, that means they're anxious or something.
or they're nervous,
So like,
or they feel like
so like
They
feel
know you
like-
knowing that.
yeah, like I had a client. I had a client one time, I put color in her. She was like, "This." I said, "Is it burning?" And she was like, "Yes." I said, "Well, let's rinse it out." You know, like
because some people
yeah,
don't say
they
that.
won't
Some
say
people
that.
are literally being
And yeah,
They used to be me. They used to be. I would sit there and just take whatever I had. I didn't do that. Especially when I used to get relaxers. That's why.
yeah, no, literally, you just sitting there like, and that's the thing. That's how you know that there's people that aren't aware enough to watch that. Like I watch how my daughter looks at people. I just study.
But nobody would pay attention to them like their mother.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
beyond the daddy, beyond the grandparents,
But you know,
anybody
I
else,
even think
we are connected to that child from day one.
Right.
Yeah, day one. Before they even got out.
we pregnant.
Yeah, like
It's just a bond. It's just like
right. I just even remember when we were in church back before the pandemic, and my daughter after church, you know, all the kids would be running. She would just sit there and she'd be like, because she's just not that type. Or like somebody would walk up to her and be like, "Hey, Dakota," and she's like. And then there's some people that's like, "Hey, Dakota," she has this huge smile on her face. I'm like, okay, so you won't be holding her, you won't be babysitting her.
Oh yeah.
Don't ask to talk to my, like, you know, because I'm going to listen to my child at the end of the day. If she come home one day and say, "I don't want to go to daddy's house," you ain't going to leave daddy's house. You coming with me. Like, that's just, because at the end of the day,
where
I
does that?
had to fear that. I was like, what if my daughter came home one day and said that? Like,
What if your child came home and said that they wanted to go live with their father?
I would be.
She gonna say that.
My daughter would say that. If she said that, I probably would be very hurt.
crush.
I probably, it probably would feel like something tearing in my stomach.
But you would
But you honestly know what? Oh, sorry, go
No, you're
ahead.
good.
I was gonna say the crazy thing about it though is I bet you if you let them go for like a week.
Let them come back.
Like my friend, she's actually adopted, so it's a different situation, but she really got into it with her parents when she was like 16, 17, and she would always, her like key line to them, I just wish I could live with my real parents. I just wish so her parents sent her. They got tired of her saying that. And they were like, you're gonna live with your real family for a month. It was over the summer. And it was the worst.
Yeah.
She was like crying for them by the end of the month. But the same thing happens with some people and their baby fathers. Like sometimes kids get this like big grandiose like idea of their dad when you're trying to really protect the dad from looking like a bum.
They really feel like
But
their dad is Superman.
It makes them fantasize about
especially
their dad.
little girls. Little girls do not see fault in their father at all.
Right.
And you don't want to
And
be
it
that
ain't even our
person.
job for them to try to make them see that.
Exactly. You don't want to be that way, and then you can't show like, okay, well, you know, it's not. You don't want to be like, oh, I don't have an issue with you living with me, and so you want to make it seem like you don't have an issue with them being with them either, just to not have a negative approach and negative impact on their decisions because. Children are easily influenced by their parents when they're younger, and it's really important that you are like a positive influence, like in a positive, because they need that. Yeah. So, okay, we can wrap this up here. Is there any advice that y'all would give somebody who wants to be a single parent or who is pregnant currently and about to become a single parent? Yeah. Any advice that y'all have? You got something to say? I heard you open your mouth slightly.
The only advice I would give to a single parent, especially I'll talk to maybe somebody that's watching that can relate to my specific situation, which is I didn't come from a single parent household, so I put a lot of guilt on myself that I got something that I felt like I was depriving my child of. Is my dad always used to say, in parenting, parents take way too much of the parents take way too much blame when things go wrong, and they take way too much credit when things go right. So don't put so much anxiety on yourself about maybe trying to mimic your childhood or make things right from your childhood that you felt like went wrong, because your child is on their own journey. It's completely different than yours, no matter how much you try to make it like yours if you had a good one, or make it not like yours if you had a bad one. And yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah, because you could whip you could whip kids into shape back in the day, but nowadays you can pop your child, you can yell at them, and Braylon be like this. I mean, social services will be in your life, but Braylon be like,
they don't care.
I mean, she's young, they young, but it takes, you gotta put in extra work now. Like, you really do in order to get through to these kids nowadays.
I would definitely say if you know for a fact that the relationship is not going to be there, take the emotion out and keep it about the kid. So like, I just had to ask, every time me and my daughter's dad make a decision, I say, what is going to be best for Cody? So if we decide we're going to do a schedule, what will be best for her? Stability. So that means, multiple days on, multiple days off, just because that gives her consistency. If somebody different is picking her up from school every day, or if somebody different is doing this every day based off of us trying to live our lives, the way that we want to, what does that mean for her? So once you know that the relationship is over, take all your emotion out about that person and keep it about the kid. And it's hard to say make it a business relationship, but it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, my goal here with you is to raise a child that's not a menace to society. Like, that's my ultimate goal here. I want my child to be, the best version of what we can make based off of the fact that we're not doing it under the same household. So take all the emotion out. If you still love them, okay. But at the end of the day, we got a child to raise here, and we have a blank canvas to make a art piece or a masterpiece on right now. And if we decide to just go our separate ways and let that be the reason why our child grows up in toxicity, that's what she's going to be a reflection of. She's going to be a reflection of the life that we provided for her. Right. So I just keep it all about the kid. What would Dakota do?
I'm about to say, people gotta always remember, if it's meant to be, it'll
it'll be
So
right.
don't try to make it worse.
Worse.
I feel like, you know,
Because the child sees that too.
Yeah.
yeah. Just like when I had my daughter, you know, of course, like when stuff's going on, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna try to make it work for the sake of my daughter. But once I grew out of that, it was like, you know, don't try to make it work because it's gonna be, it'll be. You do your thing, they do their thing, and you just learn from that. And you move on.
It shouldn't have to be made to work. It should just work.
Yeah,
Right.
it just work.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have to make it because if
Yeah.
that person want to be with you, they're gonna be with you.
They're
You
gonna
wanna
be with
them,
you.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
Right.
it.
Even with the little hiccups,
Yeah.
you're gonna do all that
Yeah.
you can to make sure that your family sticks together.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It takes small stuff. It really takes the small things, such as doing small stuff with your children. Okay, if you feel like you could be a better girlfriend or boyfriend or husband, watch a video that, you know, if you don't feel comfortable going to actually book somebody and talk to somebody, watch a video.
Yes.
I recommend Tony Gaskins because he's like that. I'm just saying. But
Okay.
anyway, yeah,
Every
Tony
single
Gaskins.
time.
I'll tell you when I couldn't do good.
Every single
Okay,
time.
so that's it for this video, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. This was so fun, and this was plenty of different topics. So I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.